Max Holloway versus Frankie, the wrong answer, Edgar, is fighting into UFC 240 for the main event. And this card is terrible. This card is terrible. This card is worse than, UFC on ESPN 4 was a decent card, but this card is just terrible. I think the pay-per-view buys will for UFC 240 will be very, very low. I don't know if it can pass 100K buys. So, yeah, the co-main event is Chris Cyborg versus some chick, and this card is boring. I'm not planning on buying this card. So, but the main event is watchable. It should have been Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski because Volkanovski is ranked at number 1 and he deserves it. And Frankie Edgar is number 4, and his last win was against the Cub Swanson, who I believe isn't ranked anymore. So, Cub Swanson isn't even ranked. That's terrible. So anyway, let's get to the fight. So, Frankie Edgar, the wrong answer, versus Max Holloway. Let's talk about Edgar first. He's not the strongest wrestler. He's known as a very, very good wrestler. He's known as a good wrestler who can mix it up with the striking, who has very good cardio, who never gets tired, and who outpaces his opponents. And he's a strong wrestler, but he's not the strong wrestler. The better version of Frankie Edgar is Chad Mendes in his prime. Chad Mendes now his chin is gone, and not gone, but his chin has deteriorated because of all the damage he took from Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor and everyone else. But Frankie Edgar is not the best wrestler. As far as I can remember, Frankie Edgar could not take down Jose Aldo even once. But Chad Mendes could take him down. Even though Jose Aldo was able to get back up to his feet right away, but at least Chad Mendes was able to take him down for 2 or 3 seconds. But Frankie Edgar could never take down Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo has tremendously good takedown defense, but it tells me that he's not the best wrestler. But he's a good wrestler. And he has no punching power. I bet I hit harder than Frankie Edgar. I bet my life. I bet my right hand that I hit harder than Frankie Edgar. He is a UFC fighter. I bet he can maul me 24/7, but you can't teach power. And I think I hit harder than Frankie Edgar. So Frankie Edgar has no power. In UFC, he has only 2 knockouts. One was against the Gray Maynard, and the other one was against Chad Mendes. And people might think, well, he knocked out Chad Mendes, then he has great punching power. No. Chad Mendes, just before that fight, he got knocked out by Conor McGregor. When fighters get knocked out the last fight, the next fight, usually their chin is not that good. So it's safe to say that Frankie Edgar doesn't have knockout power, and he has good chin, but it has been cracked by Ortega, and it has been tested by Gray Maynard. He was dropped 2 or 3 or 4 times in a single round, and it has been tested, but it's not gone yet. I think it's not gone yet, but it could be tested this time against Max the Blast Holloway, and he doesn't get tired. He never gets tired. So the best thing Edgar has is that he has extremely good cardio, and his wrestling is one of the best, but not the best. Chad Mendes is the best wrestler in the featherweight division, although he retired recently. So let's talk about Max Holloway. Max Holloway, he did lose to Dustin Poirier, and I said in my prediction video that Max Holloway would lose to Dustin Poirier because of power difference. But Holloway is not the strongest, not the hardest puncher, but he has quite good power. He uses 1-1-2. I think 1-1-2 is his 1-1-2 or 1-2 is his main weapon. His straight right hand is he has pretty decent power. Maybe as strong as my straight right, and he has very good striking, and he has very good. He's very good with distance. He can move in and out very well. very fluid with his movement. So in the striking department, Holloway is just a lot better than Edgar. But pure wrestling wise, I would give it to Edgar. But the thing is, I'm not sure if Edgar can take down Max Holloway. I think he will take down Holloway like at least like once or twice in the whole fight. But I'm not sure if he can hold him for a long time. I think eventually Holloway will get back up to his feet and do his thing. And Holloway has very good chin. He didn't get knocked out by Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is one of the hardest puncher in UFC, in the featherweight division and lightweight division. And he, in the first, second, and third round, he got punched like big times by Dustin Poirier. And Dustin Poirier is a power puncher. He hits hard. But he couldn't finish Max Holloway. So it tells me that Max Holloway, as we all know, has very good chin. But the thing is, whenever fighters go through that kind of war, even if they don't get knocked out, if they get punched in the face a lot, like Junior Dos Santos when he after war with Kane, he was never the same. So Max Holloway could have some damage in his brain, but I don't think it's still. I think it's gonna hold up pretty good against Edgar, and he has very good takedown defense, but it's not the best in the featherweight division. The best in the featherweight division is everybody knows Jose Aldo has the best takedown defense in featherweight division. I think his takedown defense will hold up very well in the lightweight division as well. So that's why I think Jose Aldo versus Khabib Nurmagomedov is a very interesting fight. Now, I don't know if Jose Aldo's takedown defense is that good to defend Khabib's takedown, but we all know that there's no doubt that Jose Aldo's takedown defense is one of the best in the business. And also, Holloway has the same thing, that he doesn't get tired. He never gets tired. So, yeah, that's about it. So, who do I think is going to win the fight? I think Holloway is going to win the fight because Frankie Edgar is going to come to this fight very motivated. He said in an interview that since ever he lost his belt in 2012, he was eyeing for the belt. He was eyeing for the title fight. But I bet he felt that way. He felt the same way against Jose Aldo twice. When he fought Jose Aldo twice. I bet he is as hungry as he was the last time. I mean, even hungrier. But the thing is, I don't think that's going to be enough for Holloway. Holloway is taller. Pure wrestling wise, I think Edgar is a better wrestler. But I think Holloway's jiu-jitsu offense and takedown defense is going to be enough to stop Edgar's wrestling offense. And I think Holloway's reach and straight punches will be too long for Edgar. I think Holloway will chew up Edgar from the distance. And I think he will finish him. I think in the third or fourth or maybe second. I don't think it's going to be by one punch knockout. But the damage will pile up, and eventually I think he will get cracked, and I think he'll get knocked down. I don't know if it's gonna be by dead stiff knockout, but I think it's gonna be by TKO. So when Edgar lost to Ortega, he was hitting the ground like he couldn't believe that he lost the fight. I think that's the same shit will happen this fight. I think he's gonna get knocked out, TKO. So I'm sorry for Edgar, but Edgar, this is not a good fight for Edgar. He has to fight someone who doesn't have good takedown defense. So this is not a good fight. I don't see how Edgar wins this fight. Like maybe he can land a perfectly timed, perfectly placed right hand or left hand to knock out Holloway, but I don't see that happening because Edgar is a lot shorter. Chad Mendes is has the same reach or same height as Edgar, but Holloway is longer. He's better with the distance, so I just don't know. I mean, I just don't see Edgar winning this fight. So I'm sorry, Edgar, but you're gonna lose this fight. So that's it. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.